ones. The renewable fuels are simply fuels made from organic matter produced using the energy from the sun via photosynthesis. Here, so you can see that the plants harness the carbon dioxide and the energy from the sunlight through this process and turn the carbon dioxide into plant materials. So when we use renewable energies, we simply reverse this entire process, sometimes using a combustion reaction, and then release the carbon dioxide back. So the process of using renewable fuels is considered carbon neutral. It does not mean that we do not release carbon dioxide when we use them. It simply means that when we use them, we simply release the carbon dioxide that was in the air back into the atmosphere. So we're not adding carbon dioxide when we use them. Okay? So there are three kinds of biofuels that we need to know about: biogas, bioethanol, and biodiesel. Okay. So biogas is simply the rotting of animal waste or some other organic materials. Okay. Under anaerobic conditions, of course, with the help of bacteria, and then we produce a mixture of gas, which is mostly methane, with some carbon dioxide. Okay. So the Werribee treatment plant here in Melbourne uses that process, uses that biogas to generate electricity. Okay. So sometimes in rural areas, you might see this kind of setup. So animal waste, human waste, latrine is just another name for toilet. Okay, so these waste goes into this kind of concave, and where bacteria weave their magic. The biogas produced, can be harnessed through a pipe here. And then the methane in biogas can be used in a combustion reaction to produce energy. Bioethanol is produced from starch and sugars, mostly plant materials then, and it is done so by fermentation, which is the breakdown of sugar solutions by enzymes in yeasts. There are two steps involved. The first step is a hydrolysis reaction. We'll look closer at it in Unit 4. Hydrolysis reaction produces glucose from starch. And then the second step, through the enzymes, glucose is then turned into ethanol. Ethanol can be directly used as a fuel, and since it's produced from plants, which are renewable, so they are bioethanols. Okay? This process is an anaerobic digestion, aka fermentation. Okay? So, and the third kind is biodiesel. We'll look closer at it later in the chapter. Here we only need to know that we use the oil made from plants through a process called transesterification, okay, and to produce biodiesel here. So biodiesel essentially is a methyl ester with really long fatty acid chains. Okay. This process must involve catalyst, and that is a base, normally potassium or sodium hydroxide, to be effective. So when we need to compare biofuels with fossil fuels. So in terms of energy content, fossil fuels are the winner. They have much higher energy content, which means we don't need much of them, not so many of kilograms to produce huge amount of heat, as compared to biofuels, which normally are lower in terms of energy content. However, biofuels are renewable resources. Even though we need to use a lot of them to produce the same amount of energy, we don't need to worry about them being used up. Okay? They can be sourced locally, which can save costs for logistics, like transportation. Also, to produce less net carbon dioxide. That is, the carbon dioxide that's produced during consumption is offset by what was absorbed when plants grow. So again, we're not adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere when we use biofuels. However, as we said, they're low in energy content. They require a lot of water to maintain the crops. Also, the land that was used to grow food for people are now used to produce fuels. Okay. So as a summary, fossil fuels versus biofuels. Fossil fuels has higher energy content, but is non-renewable. Biofuels are renewable. They produce less carbon footprint, okay, but they use a lot of water and we require lands being cleared to produce fuels. So food for machines instead of food for people. And fossil fuels then, it produces a lot of polluting gases such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide. Also, lands needs to be sometimes they cause degradation of land because of extensive digging.